love a good intro theme song here at the Halfling Wizard Productions, don't we, gentlemen?
Yeah,
I
the
don't know
thing's
what
like,
I don't know what happened on my end. For some reason, it didn't play.
Wow, the internet does not like you.
It doesn't. After last time, it just hates me.
It's
okay.
fine. We know you dipped on purpose. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love you, Chris. I would never say anything like that to you. Love you so much. But hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of QUEERZ, a TTRPG romp through love. You know, the fight against, injustice, intolerance, ignorance, whatever you want to call it. I mean, you can replace the word. And why are we doing this? Because it is the internet and I can. Just kidding. Hello, my name is Mikey. I am your Q Master. I am running this lovely game here at Halfling Wizard Productions. And joining me this evening, of course, are two of my lovely players as we continue on through this crazy arc we got going on, y'all. First and foremost, of course, I give him a lot of, I give him a hard time, but it's because I love him and he can take it. Chris is here in the building who is playing our lovely Kyler, our sky pirate, if you will. So I'm happy you're here. Hopefully nothing happens.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here too. I was happy last time because I've been gone for a bit, and then my power decided to betray me right at the start. So there's no storms tonight. We don't anticipate any car crashes on the corner that will put down my power. I think I'm good for tonight. I hope I'm good for tonight. I missed this game, and it's good to be here.
We've missed you so much, and we're excited to have you. Knock on wood. So that's what I'm doing on my desk right now. It's made of mahogany, you guys. Anyways,
That's mahogany.
Exactly. Again, those of you who know me on the internet and been following me for a very long time, you know. And then, of course, rounding out my players this evening is, my TTRPG leveling aficionado friendo, as well as my music and wrestling friendo, just the friendo of all the nerddoms that apparently we find ourselves in. JT is here, who, of course, is playing the lovely Phineas Lockwood, alias Kitsune / Kitsune Man / can I actually hit with a bow?
Yeah. Can this stick hit that target? We'll find out on the next QUEERZ.
We will find out. Also, we are going to see, will the dice actually work in JT's favor tonight?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay, JT. The dice, every session, somebody has to have not so great dice rolls, and unfortunately, it was you. And the time before that. That's what I'm just kidding. I swear,
true.
if your dice don't work for you today, I think we might have to just send you some new ones. I'll be like, stage them, bless them with holy water, burn them with fire. We'll figure it out.
All of the above. Send them through the avatar state. It's all good.
I swear, if my dice went into the avatar state, I don't know if I would be enjoying it, turned on, or be very, very frightened. But I'm excited. It's been 2 weeks. I'm really excited to continue this because things got real, y'all, last episode. So let's get into a bit of a recap before we jump into tonight's adventure. So last time on QUEERZ, our intrepid, lovely, queeros, as we called them, found themselves outside of the house of, our, I don't want to say target because it makes it sound like the players are out here to eliminate him, but they found themselves after our current arc's Justice Night and the music teacher Felix Dorian, as they witness a lover spat between him and the PE coach at the Performing Arts Academy, Coach Hernandez. So that was an intense scene as well. And then upon, lights going out, emotions running high, we had a brief scuffle between our heroes and a half-transformed Justice Knight form, Felix Dorian, which then prompted our heroes to get pulled into Mr. Dorian's inner space, which we found out is a very extravagant and, very traditional and typical concert hall / opera house / music theater. Like, it is grand. It was crazy. There was marble. There was mahogany doors. It was wild. But our heroes decided, you know what? Let's go inside because that is where things are going to go down. Upon entering the music hall, our Queeros were, taken aback by what they saw, with half of the concert hall full of light and love and, warmth, and the other half of the auditorium was dark and dingy. Very like Two-Face scenario here between light and darkness. No Kingdom Hearts. Anyways, but the crux of last time was an encounter between our Queeros and the inner space aversion, the Justice Knight form of Felix Dorian, in which a fight somewhat broke out. Things happened. There was a creepy choir that was singing the whole entire time. Phineas got thrown across the theater, which was very scary. Ally tried his best, but unfortunately, the Queeros were not prepared or strong enough to deal with this Justice Knight, and learned very quickly that it was very different than their encounter with the magician than in their previous experience. We ended the episode with our Queeros back in the real world after being thrown out of Mr. Dorian's inner space and kind of collecting themselves, licking their wounds, and then deciding to head back to, home base to figure out what is going to happen. So we're going to run it back just a tiny bit. So we ended last session with our heroes getting on the top of a transformed Penelope, who is the AI / in the form of a mechanical pigeon, which is really great right now. And Penelope transformed into a a la the Jetsons type of futuristic flying car. But there are blindfolds on them because it's like, okay, you can't know where this is, but we'll figure it out. But I want to run it back though, because I want to give Phineas here and Kyler a chance. So Kyler, in all intents and purposes, Chris, you unfortunately weren't able to witness all of this, but that is how we filled you in. You were with these guys the entire time. The whole fight went down and everything, and you saw and experienced everything that the other two did. So we're actually going to rewind the clock just a tiny bit to after being thrown out of the inner space. Ally is helping Phineas off the floor. Kyler, however you found yourself out of the inner space, whether you were okay or you fell on a couch or something, we'll figure that out. But I want us, everybody's outside right now, so I want us to kind of just start there with all of you guys outside of the house and kind of just debriefing and talking about everything that, went down. So yeah, I will let you guys to it, and then we'll continue forward with where we left off. So,
oh my God, it's like one of those times, like we're like traveling towards wherever. I feel like I just had the legit ability to say, did anybody get the number of that truck? Holy crap.
Oh, that was definitely a journey, to say the least. This isn't gonna be as easy as we thought, huh?
No. I don't even think he was in his full form. And I got tossed like a rag doll.
No. And gods, did we I've actually started thinking, did we bite off something more than we can chew for once?
I mean, it looks that way. I'm pretty for certain that we'll get through this. I hope we get through this. Because that hurts to watch him when I'm in a class and I see this happen and I can't just whack.
Yeah.
Gotta keep it work related.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. Well, there's There's no way we're going to let this go, but it's clear we can't just go back in guns blazing again.
No, that would be absolute suicide.
Yeah. I guess maybe if we go back to base and ask maybe there's more intel, more tools we can use.
It sounds like Ally wants to take us back to his spot.
It sounds like a plan to me.
So, oh God, he's asking us to put blindfolds on. All right, fine.
Look, never mind. Let's just go.
This is an 18+ stream, so y'all know what you're getting into with a game called QUEERZ. I'm just letting y'all know right now.
You see Kyler about to say something. Just go. You know what? Let's just go.
You're just like
my secret word is meatloaf.
And there it is.
Because I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
That's the show, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. I've needed this after this week. Alrighty. So after debriefing a little bit, Penelope decides to fly and transform into a futuristic flying car a la the Jetsons. So it's like that weird bubble shape. Ally asked you to put, blindfolds on so that way y'all don't know really the location of, where we are going. So after a bit of time, you three, well, everybody involved, you end up finding your way. You both of you feel, Penelope land. You both are guided through, holding each other's hand, like leading the blind person through the stuff. You guys make your way down to what seems to be a good set of stairs, and then you are, with Ally. You find yourself inside a room of some sort, and then after door closes, everything's good to go. Ally tells you to take the blindfolds off, and let me change this real quick. You two, as you pulling off the blindfolds, you find yourself in a very interesting fusion of a room. Of course, this is what happens when you take technological advances and, a la the Batcave. But instead of it being in a dark and, a dark cave, it seems like somebody decided to make this into a plant coffee shop hybrid of some sorts. You see that a lot of the energy sources are being powered by this whole aquarium. There's an aquarium tank and like hamsters running around as well. So it's like plant animal sanctuary safe space. This is coffee shop vibes. It's kind of killer right here.
Ally, are you rich or something? Are you like a secret Batman?
So as you two are taking this in and Ally's kind of getting all situated, you all hear a voice coming from behind you. It sounds like a very warm, lovely voice. And as you turn around, you see this matronly figure, a little bit on the older side, very beautiful though, kind of long salt and pepper gray hair. She is holding a coffee mug in her hand. And as you all turn around, she says, well, it seems that my nephew has picked up some very interesting friends along the way. How you doing, you two? My name is Sue, but you could call me Auntie for short.
Oh, well, pleasure to meet you, Auntie.
Likewise.
Don't worry. Your hero's secrets are safe with me, as she smiles warmly and takes a sip of her mug.
All right. Well, thank you for your hospitality. We really appreciate it, especially after what just happened.
Yeah, I can kind of see you three are a little worse for wear, but I'm not going to ask too many questions, except for this one. Would you like water, some chamomile, or lavender tea?
Uh, chamomile, please.
Lavender would be great.
Excellent choices. I will go up and make those, and I'll bring them down when they are ready. I'll let you boys at it. And again, Auntie Sue, not asking any questions, but she knows, she been knowing all sorts of things. I mean, it canonically in this game, Auntie Sue is aware of Atticus's hero form because he showed it to her, so she's in the know. And plus, there's stuff going on behind the scenes as well with Atticus's personal story, which we hopefully will get to see at some point in this campaign. But Auntie Sue goes back up the stairs to go make the tea for the gentleman. And so you three find yourself once again back in, Atticus's, space. So just for all the giggles and things like that, Atticus explains to you two that he has an acronym for his room. He gives you the acronym, and when you take the first letters, this is Atticus's safe space, is what he calls this. This is the safe space.
Wow.
Yes. Andrew and I had a great time coming up with that one. So, as you three decompress, and again, playing back the final moments of what went down in the inner space with just a blinding light and the vision. Well, Atticus saw this and he tells you the vision of a, regular Felix Dorian playing a piano in this blinding vision. The piano is tattered. He's wearing, concert attire that is also tattered, playing notes on the piano, and ended up looking at Atticus, smiling and just giving a solemn nod, knowing that, y'all will be back eventually to come get him out of here at some point. So he ain't too keen or worried on it.
That'd be so creepy.
Oh yeah.
So as you guys, Auntie Sue brings your tea. The three of you again, just trying to calm down the nerves, still the heartbeat. Penelope chimes in after a couple minutes and says, I am receiving a message from I am receiving a message from home base. Mother is on the line. Shall I play and connect communication?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Initializing comm unit. And again, still in the form of a pigeon, Penelope, the pigeon eyes begin to dilate a little bit and turn into camera lenses as the regular eyes pop in, and then out comes these two camera lenses, and then they begin to whir and a projection appears. In this projection, of course, you see your lovely alien friend RTO. They are amazing. We love them in this household. But also Mother sitting on her couch in front of, and her table full of snacks as well. And as Mother begins to pop on, and RTO is just like, okay, we're live, Mother. You are connected via audio and visual, so they can see you and you can see them. Why, thank you, RTO. I appreciate your help. Oh, my lovely boys. It seems you've, by the looks of it, things are a little worse for wear than last we talked. How are you guys doing?
A little banged up, but nothing that can't be easily rectified. At least for myself, I could say that.
I found out that I can go through 12 choir pews and not get completely hurt.
Well, that is a feat, Phineas. That is a little worrisome, though. Are you... Well, this is a silly question to ask, but physically, are you okay?
I have been better, but it's not bad.
Well, I'm happy to see you all unharmed to a certain extent, but I must apologize to you boys because I failed to mention that some inner spaces might be tougher than others. That has to do with the type of ignorance that one is being afflicted with. It seems with what went down at the carnival with the magician, that one was a little bit easier because the ignorance wasn't fully formed quite yet. But it seems that you have gotten your first encounter with how powerful and how visceral that the inner space can be, especially when the ignorance and the Justice Knight forms begin to afflict the individual. So I can only apologize and offer my sincerest condolences. It was never my intention to put you in such danger like that without giving you the proper information. And you see from the virtual communication, you just see Mother holding her hand to her chest and kind of, while sitting down, give a little bit of a curtsied bow as, you know, a sign of offering her sincere condolences for you guys basically going through what you did, and to a certain extent, Phineas, for you getting thrown to those rows of, you know, choir pews.
So, how are we even going to beat this guy?
Well, I guess it would be, I think now is a good time to kind of give you the information. And Mother begins to, she lifts her hand a little bit, and you see books kind of coming flying in from off screen in front of her, and they begin to kind of flip pages through their own, kind of like a la magic. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But Mother is looking through everything, and she is reading through a bunch of pages, and she begins to say, here is how this kind of goes down a little bit. As you have discovered, some inner spaces can react a little bit more hostile and are a little bit more difficult to navigate. And as you experienced, the Justice Knight of the inner space does have the potential to throw out anybody else who is not supposed to be in that realm. It's in cases like this that might be an indication that you're going to need to find a way to affect the inner space. Again, the inner space is connected to a person's heart, and something needs to change. Some sort of, getting all scientific here, sorry, Mikey breaking the fourth wall a little bit. So I get very brainy when it comes to certain descriptions, so please bear with me. Back into Mother role. There has to be some sort of external stimuli that would cause a person's heart to be affected, not physically, obviously, but more on a psychological and spiritualogical level, and sometimes an emotional level. Whatever emotions and thoughts and feelings that the individual feels, you know, in their everyday life might cause an adverse reaction to the inner space. Now, depending on the inner space, that might be that you need to gather some information as to how to make that change come about. You might need to, you know, be diplomatic in certain situations. I've also seen some other queeros across the world, depending on the type of ignorance that is being dealt with, have to be a little more forceful and might be a little more confrontational. In this case, it seems that while powerful, looking at the, you know, footage that Penelope recorded, it seems that the person being affected by this is fighting and is struggling to fight back. and is trying to not let it control them. So it might be, there might still be a chance that you can find a way back into that inner space. You're just going to need to figure out a way as to how. And as much as I can give you all this information, I truly do not know. It's different for everyone. So I apologize for not being able to give you more information than that. So it seems you're going to have to do a little bit of the legwork, so to speak.
Well, dang.
But, of course, Penelope is here to help guide you in case you ever get stuck. So please rely on her to help you if in case you need it. Penelope, again, while the eyes with the camera lens are still showing this whole virtual conversation with Mother, you hear Penelope's voice go, I am here to assist and help you heroes in any way I can. So should you need any guidance, please ask me. I am here for all quandaries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So my best guess would be to, well, call it a night. You boys have been through a lot. And just find some rest and then just go at it tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I must be good. In the meantime, I will see what else I can figure out in terms of what possibly can help in the inner space. In the meantime, I will contact you guys through Penelope should I find something more. But until then, rest up, my children, and know that I love you, and please stay safe. Until next time. And then as she's waving, RTO kind of goes to the camera to turn it off. Penelope's voice again fills the safe space and says, communication has ended.
What did you order?
Apologies for that. So yeah, so that's how it went.
We're live, everybody. No, it's all good. A little off shot for a half second. My wife actually was outside mowing while we're going through all of this. So that's, it's real life, everybody.
Yep. Welcome to live TV.
So yeah, so that is the end of the communication. You boys have been beaten up in this so far. Atticus offers you guys you can stay in the safe space for the evening to kind of just make it easier so y'all don't have to walk home.
That works for me. I'm pretty sure that'd be a long walk.
So yeah, so you guys make yourselves comfortable. And you know what? Before you guys drift, we're gonna have a little fun with this. Kyler, we're gonna start with you as you are kind of, again, pillow blanket on this futon of some sort. What are some of your thoughts going? What are some of the thoughts going on in Kyler's head, and how is he feeling about everything being forced out of the inner space? Everything that has transpired, like what are his final drifting thoughts before going to sleep?
For Kyler, part of him definitely feel like there's always going to be that kind of feeling right now of he's been trying to keep a strong face right now, being like, okay, this was rough. Let's try it again tomorrow, or when we do decide to try it again. And trying to keep that kind of brave face about it. But in reality, he is feeling kind of bummed. That bit of failure in him, that this didn't go as well as they have planned. and it's just this internal kind of fighting thoughts between that of he didn't do well enough, but also fighting back with it of, well, next time it's gonna be better, or next time just in general, just trying to beat back those thoughts of dissatisfaction, I guess you could say. But that's kind of the fight that, and basically those are just going back and forth in his brain until he tires himself out to pass out.
Alrighty. So, Phineas, the same question to you. What are Phineas's thoughts right now as he is laying down and before he drifts off to dreamland?
I kind of sort of feel like we just got done with the tutorial and we got through our first boss and it didn't end well. I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced that before, especially if you're playing like Dark Souls or something. I feel like we just got Dark Souled. And
like kind of in a way where it's part of the tutorial to fail.
yeah, or the tutorial goes really easy, but as you're actually playing the game itself, you're like, okay, this is a little challenging, but it's not bad. And that boss hits you the first time, you go, well, I'm out, and you just unplug the game and rage quit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of sort of how that felt. A good chunk of Phineas's thoughts as he's drifting off are more of, we need to find something to defeat this. If we need to research something, if we need to ask around questions, if we need to like talk to the mother's boss, I don't know, something. Like we need to find a way to chip the armor, so to speak, or to not get blasted through all of those scenes. God, I think my rib is still broken. Okay, well, that's, and like pretty much his nod off is thinking of ways that he can do more research.
Excellent. So both of you end up finding yourself thinking of these things and kind of drifting off into Slumberland. And you wake up next morning. Kyler, you are sorry, I'm looking at chat. So Kyler, you are waking up again. You're fine. Phineas, while you are more energized because you got a full night's sleep, while it doesn't hurt as much as it did the night before, you're still a little bit sore and you can still feel the physical ramifications, even in your hero form, being thrown through those choir pews in the inner space. So you're a little bit sore, but not as bad as you were yesterday.
That's fair. Yeah. He as Kyler's waking up, he's probably you're seeing him doing a lot of stretches and a lot of just trying to take care of himself and his wounds.
I love that. Anyways, so Kyler, as you're kind of tending, so to speak, to Phineas's wounds and breakfast is being served, Penelope wakes up from her, charging, turned off stasis, and she comes alive. Good morning, boys. I hope you had a restful evening.
As restful as I could get.
Yeah, I just had to remember not to sleep on like my left side, and I was a lot more comfortable.
Adding that to my notes. Make sure Kyler doesn't sleep on left side of the body.
Well, it's because of the and he points to like probably a bruise on his side. It's like that kind of woke me up.
Very fair. Well, gentlemen, today is the day of investigation. Again, Penelope is all like very logical based. So she's like, doesn't have time for the small dog. So she's like, today is investigation day. I am quite excited, to be honest with you two. Well, there are many avenues to start. Should I give you some recommendations as to how to go about and utilize the maximum time of your day?
I like the way you think, Penelope.
Excellent choice. Here are the options that I have compiled based on my analysis and ran through different scenarios of what could possibly be the most fruitful. There are a few points of investigation that you could possibly help us in our search to find a way back into the inner space. I believe that one of those options is to revisit that student in the media lab, Casey. It seems that she has a good grasp on what is happening, and in the fact that she was able to, while not change my code, she is a lot smarter than she gives herself credit for. So she might be able to help analyze further as to what you experienced in the inner space. Because again, Mikey breaking character for a little bit. Because remember, Penelope filmed the whole thing while you guys are in the inner space. Now, while certain parts of it were like glitched out, like the Justice Knight form of Mr. Dorian and all that jazz, Penelope still was able to film everything else, like what the space looked like and all that good stuff. All right, back into Penelope mode. So you may go to Casey to analyze the footage further and see what her insights are. Another avenue would be to talk to Sam and Javier to learn a little bit more about Mr. Dorian before this whole entire transformation from their perspective as students. Finally, I think it would be a good idea, possibly, to also go talk to the coach again and see if you can figure out any more information. As we all have noticed in the night before, things got a little tense between the two. Maybe there might be some information that you can learn from being a listening ear to his plight. Again, I do not mean that in a very mean way. I'm just giving you options as to possibly how it helps. However, it would be important and against my programming if I didn't give this advice. Should you go and visit the PE coach, please be careful and make sure that you keep his heart in mind as you are asking these questions.
Hmm.
All right.
Kind of going with the first one, but I might do the third one.
I should point out that all options will give you different pieces of information and could also and will anything would be helpful. It's a matter of how you want to go about it.
I'm kind of the analytical mindset. So maybe at least I would be in favor of getting the footage looked at first, see if there's anything we can glean from it.
Okay. I can always go talk with Coach Hernandez because that adult to adult talk, it's a lot easier to transfer what you're thinking and how you want to not offend a little kid looking over at Atticus. No offense. But I think I might end up doing that one.
Excellent. So, to make sure that I keep track of this in his notes and the DM playing this character also can keep this in his brain proper, Kyler, you have chosen to go talk to Casey. Now, I've already made a fake student ID for you, as you will be going undercover as a student. So you are already in the system. I have happily added some information for your cover. So you will
Sounds
go
good.
talk to Casey. I do have to warn you that she is a little bit eccentric. Lovely individual, lovely girl. But she is also the lead of the school newspaper, so be mindful to not spill all the tea with her.
Good to know. Good to know.
So Penelope's like, to make sure that you don't feel like you're heading into this alone, I will give you this. And she opens her little chest area, and the little chassis opens up, and you see a tiny version of Penelope, like a tinier version of a bird, fly over to you. This is P1. She is a smaller version of me. She doesn't have all the capabilities as I do, but she is good for recording and also as a communication device. Should you be in trouble, P1 can notify me, and therefore I can tell everyone else that you are in need of immediate assistance. She also has connections to the 911 line should you need any actual emergency services, but I doubt it. Do not worry.
Good to know. Thank you. That's actually really, really useful.
Like an upgraded life alert bracelet.
I mean,
Yes.
that's the best way to put it. And so that is what you will be doing. Phineas, you have decided to go with the heart-to-heart with Coach Hernandez. I will be in with you in this one, but obviously not in pigeon form, because pigeon in school does not equal, great cover for you or for me. So she transforms herself. I will be in disguise as a pair of headphones for you. Kind of like most janitors in media that I have studied, they like to listen to music while they are working. And she begins to play music. She's like, I found this radio station called BBC Radio. I don't fully understand what it is, but they play something called EDM, and I'm very enjoying it right now.
Good call.
Listen, I know my friends very well, so we're going to be pulling stuff like that. Be like, I believe it is somebody named Zane Lowe who is hosting this current hour of the radio station. Shout out to Zane. We love you. Anyways.
Well, we'll have to talk about that later because I've got some theories with robots and dubstep. Just saying.
I have heard that is a good show. You will need to fill me in as we go about our day. But I will be with you for this heart-to-heart, and once again, I will be able to retain any information that you learned in my note base. So,
Perfect.
Well, now that we figured out what we will do, boys, let us get on our, how do you humans say it, on our merry way, shall we? So, you guys prepare yourselves. You guys get back into your disguises. Phineas, of course, back into the janitor uniform. Kyler, you are in the you are in your disguise. This is too much on the nose for this one, but on your ID, there's no last name. It's just like it says, spelt JINU on your, so it's just like your literal name, your undercover name is Genu.
Of course it is.
Listen, because we are friends, I'm going to pull these things, and I am going to include this because I can deal with it. I'm just kidding.
That's fine. That's fine.
All of a sudden,
crap.
All of a sudden, you just hear, "Oh my god!" Be like, "It's the Sasha Boy," and it's kidding. My little soda pop. Anyways, so as you guys make your way out of the safe space. Well, the the masks go back over the head. You get led back out to the car. Penelope she's now a driving car, not a flying car, because it's the middle of the day. She drives you guys to the school. you guys remove your mask, your, covering your vision and all that good stuff. And you make your way back into the Chrysalis Bay Performing Arts Academy. So, as the two of you walk into the school, you both are hit with an overwhelming sense of dread, even more so than regular, normal high school teenage drama stuff. As the two of you are walking through the hallways, you feel a very oppressive atmosphere kind of plaguing and suffocating, the school halls. The kids look dejected, some of them look afraid, some on the verge of tears. It looks a lot worse than what it was yesterday when you guys were here.
Oof.
Dang.
Did just oof.
Nobody died, right?
I hope not.
No one died, but things have kind of been weird, so to speak. I can't explain why. As the two of you hear this coming from behind you, you two turn around and you both see the familiar sight of Sam Torres, the student who is way too trustworthy of you guys undercover and has, all that good stuff. But he is also accompanied by his friend Javier. Javier looks a little bit better than where you guys last left him, being torn apart by Mr. Dorian during, choir practice and just ultimately watching dreams and creativity shattered. He seems to be doing a little bit better. So Sam looks around, is like, I don't know exactly what happened. I can't explain why the students are like this. I mean, beforehand, it was just high school because, girlfriend, boyfriend, everything in between problems, school, testing, all that good stuff. But it feels a little bit more off than that, and I'm kind of nervous as to why.
Are you feeling that way?
You mean the existential dread of high school? I mean, that's every teenager. We're adolescents. Duh. But this type of dread, no. I'm not necessarily feeling the same as everyone else. I'm just a little worried as to why all of a sudden even the cheerleaders are not being all preppy this morning, which is way out of their character arc.
Then Javier, you're okay too?
I mean, yeah, I'm feeling better than I did yesterday. Sam here kind of stayed with me the whole entire day, kind of calming me down and talking me out of withdrawing from the Performing Arts Academy. But yeah, I'm doing okay as I can be. And Javier, again, looks a little bit better than yesterday, but you could still feel the ramifications of just a 17-year-old just being absolutely crushed by the weight of an adult.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it was not a pretty sight. So Sam is looking around. It's like, me and Javier are gonna try to figure out and talk to some people because it doesn't seem like every student is underneath this umbrella of sadness. So we're gonna try to figure out what we can on our part, and if we find anything, we'll let you guys know. So, we'll see you later, I hope. And Sam and Javier kind of could walk down the hallways as they're talking and looking. Sam pulls out a notepad and begins talking to Javier as he's writing things down. And then eventually he ends up going out, down the hall, and they are out of eyesight. So now it is just you two in Penelope from your P1 and Penelope in your, for you, Phineas, is the headphones around your neck, and in your bag is P1 and Kyler. You both hear, again, there's you hear Penelope's voice going over both and saying, Alrighty, let's get started. It seems that the situation has has changed a little bit, so we should probably work quickly as much as we can. All right, boys, let's do this. Good luck on your mission. And again, should you need anything, all you have to do is ask. In the meantime, I will be incognito mode, powering to standby, and then you just hear a tiny whirr as she powers down to sleep mode, so to speak. Alrighty. So, we're going to flip a coin to figure out who we're going to go to first. So, I have one.
I'm gonna ask if Phineas could go first. I gotta run. I gotta have a bio break real quick.
All right. Well, that settles it. So, Phineas, you have
Sorry.
Wow, that was a loaded coin. Jeez. All right. No, it's all good.
Alrighty. Well, I mean, that's easy to figure out. So, Phineas, you and Penelope are up first. So, Phineas, you make your way back to the familiar hallway that is, leading into the, performing arts section building of the school, which also is right by, the big gym as well, where you found Coach last time. And as you walk in, oh, this is all right. I gotta prepare myself because this is gonna be a little sad, but that's okay. So, warning: we're about to get into some feelings and through our interactions here. So please be mindful as we go through it. Please make sure that you take care of yourself and that there is no any emotional bleed through your experiences here, whether it be my players or for those of you watching at home. You have been warned. Let us continue. So, Phineas, as you walk through the gym again, you see the familiar sight of people doing running laps around the gymnasium as PE tends to do. I mean, I enjoyed my PE, but I was just like, yes, there was a lot of running involved too. So you walk in and you see these students running around doing laps around the gym. And as you kind of survey the scene a little bit, you see on the far side of the gym in front of the bleachers with whistle and everything in hand, you see what was once the energetic and ever-loving Coach Hernandez, who now looks a little bit dejected, sad, just worse for wear, as you can see in this image right here. I'm just like, Coach is looking a little rough. It seems like he's got no sleep and just wrinkles in his tracksuit. It looks like he's got stubble going on. Didn't get his morning coffee. He just is a lot. Now, of course, Phineas, you are privy to what happened the previous night and what all you guys witnessed. So that also is an explanation as to why we see Coach the way it is. But yeah, so that is what you see. How would you like to approach this?
JT in the back of his head just went, "That's rough, buddy." Okay, now that I've got that out of my system, so Phineas, when he, I'm not just gonna walk up to talk to him, more or less. It's gonna be, we're gonna flash back a couple seconds if you're okay with that. I'm gonna grab a dust mop, because it looks awkward just a random janitor walking up to the guy and be like, "Hey, you look like shit." So that's going to be my entrance, if you will, is going to be mopping the outer edge of the gym floor. And as I pass by Coach Hernandez, I just give a, "Hey, how's it going?"
Oh, hello, my friend. Sorry, it's I didn't get much. I didn't get much sleep last night, and whew, my senses are not where they need to be right now. So apologies for that, and also the appearance as well.
Everything okay?
Well, it. I mean, I'm fine. At least I think I am. Actually, no. I it's it's nothing to worry about. I don't want to bother you with all of it.
Didn't you know that janitors are also parts psychiatric help as well? Pretty much I know everything about everybody.
I mean that's kind of true, but well, since you're asking, and let me just do one thing real quick. So, the coach blows his whistle, and it's like, all right, y'all, it is time to head in. Good job today. Hit the showers. You may go change. Jenkins, I'm looking at you, young man. Please remember that Axe is not a shower. Please use deodorant. And Miss Carmine, need I remind you, because I let it slide earlier when you changed out, but please do not rip your skirt a half an inch again. I already got in trouble for letting it slide last time. Please make sure you are wearing the appropriate school-length skirt. All right, coach, whatever. She's like, I promise. As she like openly just crosses her fingers in front of coach, who just laughs and chuckles at it a little bit. All right, y'all. And so all the students go in to go change to get ready for the next period. Coach walks over to the, bleachers and kind of sits a little bit and, gives like the universal like pat of the hey, come sit next to me kind of sign that on the bleachers. It's like, well, now that it's just an audience of me and you, I feel more comfortable talking to you because the kids don't need to hear all the drama. I'll probably end up on whatever the social media sites they're using these days. I can't keep up anymore. But yeah, so if it's not too much trouble, if you're willing to be in here, I can fill you in and I answer any question that you might have. So
Sure. Taking a seat next to his side.
So as you kind of sit with your Penelope headphones around your neck and in your full, disguise, you sit next to coach and there's just a brief moment of silence as you can feel the air change a little bit as coach is looking for the first thing to kind of start off this conversation. And after visibly seeing him kind of go through physically in the face, go through the thought process, stops himself, go through the thought process, stop himself again before saying something. Eventually, and out of time, coach just goes, I'm still bothered as to the conversation you witnessed when I was introducing you to the whole entire school, especially the way that you saw our lovely choir teacher, Felix Dorian. And may I ask you something?
Sure. I'm pretty much an open book.
My friend, I do not know you very, very well. And I mean, you are very new to the school, but something tells me that you are a man of character and you are very keen and observant, as most janitors tend to be. But I would like to get your opinion. Did you see it too, don't you? He's different. Felix, that is, which is Mr. Dorian's name for those of you who might forget. the way he talks, the way he looks at the world, it's like something tightened the strings too much and now he's snapping inside. Or I might be crazy, it might be the sleep deprivation talking, but what do you think?
I mean, outside of the fact that I don't think I've ever known a music teacher to act the way that he acts.
That is very fair, my friend. I mean, he's always been disciplined, sure, perfectionist even, but lately it's more than that. It's like he doesn't trust himself anymore. Every word is measured, every move rehearsed. And when I try to reach him, and here you visibly see Coach kind of sink in a little bit, it's like talking to sheet music instead of a man, if that makes any lick of sense.
It's not exactly pleasant when you have to talk to something like that.
No, it is not. And I mean, as I told you, and probably the students at this point, because it's not a secret, but it's really hard to see somebody you love go through something like this. And I don't know. It's really rough. Yesterday was not necessarily a good conversation that we had. And let's just say that things did not end the way I hoped when I arrived at his house last night.
At his house, you say? What? Wait a minute. You didn't try to propose to him, did you?
At the word propose, you see Coach's demeanor change a little bit, and through this bravado, you see him blush a little bit and just silently is blushing and staring at the gym floor and just says nothing.
You did. You totally tried to propose to him. It didn't go out how you wanted it to, did it?
No, my friend, it did not. I want to preface by saying this. It's not like it didn't happen because I found out he was cheating or, something happened of that nature. Nothing that scandalous, though. Honestly, that'd probably be a lot easier than what is happening right now. But yeah, I wanted to propose and it did not go the way that I thought it did. I mean, the conversation we had it left me, I ended up leaving after our lengthy conversation last night, and I was hurt. I don't know what else I can do to reach him, but love will do crazy things, my friend. And despite my feelings, despite me being very upset with him, I still love him. God, I do. But I don't know if he even hears me when I say it. I don't know why I'm sharing this with you, but last week I told him I needed him, that I was here for him. And he just nodded. No warmth, no spark. Like the Felix I knew was behind a glass wall, just watching everything that was going on.
Dang. That's super rough, buddy. My huge thing, how long ago did this happen? Like, you didn't get together with this guy knowing how he is now, right?
No, and that's the strange part of it all, my friend. We've been together for almost a year and a half, and like I told you the other day, this version of Felix is not the version I fell in love with. Ever since that day when we were told that we would be getting a visitor of somebody from the music world coming to visit our school very soon, something changed within Felix, and ever since then, he's been a completely different person.
You feel it in the house too, don't you?
I do. The atmosphere of of his house has changed since then too. It feels like a thunderstorm is just hanging over the whole entire house, but there's no rain, and it's just cloudiness and uncertainty written all over his face every time we are together at the house. It's baffling, to say the least. JT, if you're saying something, the mic's not picking it up.
That's because I muted my mic.
Wow. It's all good.
It's okay. I promise you guys I'm a professional.
It's
honestly. All good. Finney's just kind of like, it's that contemplation in the back of his head. I'm like, no. We're gonna keep this where I didn't accidentally purposely peep into his house for the entire time through this horrific breakup of a negative proposal. So Phineas will end up, after kind of like a slight chuckle to himself, I guess, thinking about everything that's been going on throughout his life, he goes, you got to keep going with it. I know that he seems down right now, but there has to be something that is making him off. And if you give up, then you'll never know if you have the ability to fix that. So, like, what I would end up saying is fight the fight. There's always a second question. There's always, can we do this again? Unless things go super negative, that's how you do. It's the work. It's the back and forth.
I mean, you're absolutely right, my friend. Logically, I know that, but and you see, well, I mean, it's only been a few days since y'all have been here, but Phineas, you see Coach kind of, not to say that there was a facade before in your previous interactions with him, but you see Coach's expression and his aura change a little bit to give off more vulnerability than before. And Coach admits that he is not afraid to cry when he is feeling like this, because, you know, real men do cry, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary folks of the internet. That is my PSA for this episode.
Yeah, they do.
Don't keep it in, because it only makes you feel worse. But you begin to, I don't know the proper word for it, but like when you are just overwhelmed with a variety of emotions, like, and you start to feel your body react in a way where you're crying, but it's not necessarily sadness. It's just like a mix of frustration, you know, nerves, all that good stuff. So you start to see,
that's an emotion dump, my friend.
Yes, you see
100%.
Coach. Yes, you see Coach kind of go through this emotion dump, and you start to see him tear up a little bit, with, you know, slowly cascading down his face. And he just looks at you, Phineas, is like, my friend, I'm scared. I'm scared I lost him. I'm scared he doesn't even want to be found, and I hate feeling like this. I hate feeling so helpless.
Lost people always want to be found. It just depends on if you want to try to help them get found.
And you know what? As scared as I'm feeling right now, I know he's still in there. Somewhere deep down, my Felix is still in there. The man who danced barefoot in our kitchen to bad 80s music. The man who cried with pride when his student nailed the solo. That man hasn't disappeared. He can't have. I refuse to believe that.
It's 100% true. It sounds like it's going to take time, but it could be quick.
You're absolutely right. And my friend, I think you helped me realize that if I truly fight for this man that I love, as much as I don't understand what is going on, I ain't giving up on him. And Coach kind of just turns to you, Phineas, is like, you know, you're absolutely right. Janitors are very mysterious figures, but truly, my friend, you have my gratitude and thanks.
Thank you for sharing. And just as a side note, that's actually part of the job requirement. Just saying.
I guess so. As Coach kind of chuckles to himself and he kind of wipes away the tears for a little bit. You know, I don't know how, but I'm gonna try to continue to reach him, even if he don't want it. So, I appreciate you being a listening ear, my friend, and you know, I can't put my finger on it, but you seem to be a little more than just a regular janitor. Are you sure that you weren't meant to be something more than that? Because you are amazing at giving advice.
The secret's out. Now that you know, I actually am a superhero.
Holy shit! Okay, so
I've got that. I got that Batman in me.
So Mikey coming in real quick, DM. So Phineas, as you say this, just because this is gonna go two different ways. Are you saying this in a joking manner, or are you actually telling Coach that you are a superhero?
It's a little bit of both. It is very heavily sarcastic. I'm not really going to admit, even if he was able to like hit the nail on the head, if he's like, I know you're Kitsune Man. I ended up seeing you in the mall a couple of days ago. No, that's spoilers. No, but it's very kind of like as best as he can being super sarcastic, because like how else would you end up like that'd be the perfect segue to a joke, you know, just be like, yeah, I actually am a superhero. God, I think it just blew my cover. No.
So all right, so that definitely helps with a lot of it. So as you say this, you and Coach kind of give off a laugh. But you also see Coach kind of behind that laughter, you start to see the gears turn just a tiny bit. And then he kind of just looks at you still laughing and is just like, well then, I mean, I'm a big sucker for superheroes. So, I mean, if you are a hero, my friend, then you definitely saved my day with all of this. But in all seriousness, now, as Coach is kind of composing himself. Phineas, you kind of see beginning to emanate from Coach's like chest cavity, like specifically where the heart is at. You start to see a little prismatic glow flow from it, if you will, so to speak.
Yeah, show us your cutie mark.
Yes. I love you so much, JT. But you see this like iridescent, prismatic kind of glow coming from his heart, and Coach kind of just looks directly at you and says, "My friend, I'm still taking it as a joke, but if you are indeed serious, I'm going to continue to fight for him. But if you can reach my Felix, whatever that means, I need you to. I don't care how. Just don't let him slip away. Not like this. And I'm going to do the same." And he kind of puts his hand on your shoulder and is like, "Please, my friend, can you promise me that?"
So I will reciprocate with hand on shoulder, being, of course. After all, I do make a pretty good wingman.
I mean, that you are. And then all of a sudden, Coach just brings you in, Phineas, for a big old bear hug and just like gives you like,
It's kind of one of those, whoop, and we're hugging.
yeah. So he gives you a hug, but it's like a hug of like, "Thank you for being there for me," kind of hug. And just he embraces you for a little bit and then lets you go and says, "I do apologize. I'm a big hugger. I should have asked if it was okay first, though, because consent is key."
It is, and I was okay with it.
Well, then, in the future, I will make sure to ask, though. But, anyways, I got my next class coming in, so I truly do appreciate you for hearing me out. And whatever you got to do, you have my full support in doing this. And as he's saying this, he extends his hand to you and is just like, "It's really nice to. I'm really glad that. Well, for all intents and purposes, I'm really glad that you came to the school. I look forward to maybe becoming friends outside of work if that's okay with you."
I always use a good friend. Shaking his hand back as I'm about ready to leave. Do kind of one of those like fedora tips, if you will, even though I don't have a hat on, and been like, "I'll be seeing you."
Coach just also gives the tip of the imaginary fedora back to you. So, Phineas, as you're leaving, you hear Penelope. As soon as you are both are far away enough for no one else to hear, Penelope is like, "Phineas, take a look at Phineas. I am sensing something coming from your transformer."
Pull out said transformer.
So, as you pull out this transformer, Phineas, you see this transformer glow a little bit in the same kind of, prismatic colors that you saw emanating from Coach. And as you look at your transformer, you see that prismatic light change and kind of coalesce into a portrait of Coach. And it it kind of just flashes that image of Coach, like a moving image, kind of like a GIF, if you will, so to speak, of Coach just smiling back at you as he did when you were towards the end of the conversation, as you kind of listened him out, and then it disappears. And then you hear Penelope go, I believe we have found a heroic potential in Coach."
Dang. Okay, that's pretty cool.
That is indeed cool. And you know what? I will. That is actually really cool. Now, people with hero potential don't necessarily have the extent of the powers as you do, but there is something in it that, if fostered correctly with the relationship that as you seem to have established with him, it seems that you might bring something out more. And heroes don't necessarily have to be us fighting ignorance. They could be heroes and good people in their everyday lives as well. You are amazing, Phineas.
Wow. Admiration from AI. This is so like it's like a dossier side. It's like a sidekick dossier.
Essentially.
Oh, okay.
And then all of a
Okay.
sudden, from your Transformer 2, before you put it away, you hear social link up. So, yeah, so you and Penelope discuss. She gives you more information on what this means as you guys are walking. So now, Kyler, let's head to you now. So, Kyler,
Ooh,
you
I'm gonna take my bio break while he's doing this.
do it. Be like, yes, we love it. So, Kyler, as you are being given directions to the, back to the performing arts room, and you make your way down the hall to the, media lab, you feel this really weird, ominous, presence coming from behind the door as you are just standing there. And P1 in your bag with Penelope voice is like, do not be afraid, Kyler. I promise she does not bite.
I hope you're right about that.
I promise you. Well then,
he's nervous. He's like, what? Why did you have to say that?
I promise you, it is gonna be okay. Should you be any danger, should you feel like you need to get out of there as soon as you can, the safe word is pineapple.
Good to know. Thank you.
So you reach out to the door, hands trembling, sweat going down, beating down your face. Your heart, you can hear your heartbeat beating within, pounding inside of your head louder than normal. The nerves are kicking in, as you said. So you slowly reach out, handshaking to the doorknob. You turn the doorknob and open it. And as you walk through the precipice of the door, you are met with something that you weren't necessarily expecting. Once again, you see this shaved, mohawked, pink-haired individual who is just working away at a variety of computer screens surrounding her. She turns around and she's just like, oh, well, hello there. Welcome to my domain. My name is Casey. How can I be of service to you?
Oh, hello. Wow, this is quite a setup you got here.
Well, I mean, I am the only one that actually uses this lab, so some of it is the schools, and some of it is my own personal stuff that I brought in, and the rest of it is modifications that I gave to the school stuff. So she just gives you a wink as she says all that. So yeah, I got a pretty sweet setup in here.
Yeah, that's awesome. How long have you been working on this?
I would say it probably took me, well, I've been using this for about a couple months now, but I'd say it's been slowly building for 7 months now at some point. Because I'm the only one in here, the school allowed me to come during the summer to set everything up before school started, and I've been slowly adding new things through everything. So yeah.
Cool. Well, I was recommended you because you see, as he's starting to think of a good I guess cover for why he's there. I've been very interested in like media studies and movie studies as a career, and I have this assignment, you see, where I have to analyze a scene from uh this odd superhero clip.
Superhero clip, you say?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a pretty cool movie. I might actually take a. I don't know what it's called. I gotta check back with my professor, but it seems like a cool, interesting scene. If you don't mind helping me out with it, I said you're an I heard you're an expert at analyzing video and such like that. Maybe you could tell me something that maybe I'm missing.
Sure thing. I mean, you've come to the right place. I'm the right girl for the job for you.
Cool. Good to know. And I'm assuming I have like a USB drive or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hand her. I was like, here, take a look. I think it's pretty cool.
Alrighty. Well, let's plug this in and upload it and start doing the analysis. And you're just, Kyler, you're standing there, kind of just watching her do her work. And she kind of loses herself in her work a little bit, but then she realizes it's like, she looks back at you as things are uploading. She's like, apologies if this sounds very rude to say. I don't mean anything by it, but you look like you've been through the ringer. Here, sit down.
Thanks. I pretty much skateboard everywhere, and let's just say that regardless of how long I've been doing it for, I'm not the greatest at it.
Hey, you know what? That is totally okay. I get that. You know, I have a friend of mine who is also a skater as well, so totally understand that. So let me see what I can do. Let's play with some of your recordings for a little bit and see if we can find anything.
Cool, thank you.
So, Kyler, you are watching Casey work through, the recording that you have, and you see her typing away, flipping switches, kind of moving around the tools on on the few monitors that she has. She's got like 4 of them spread out, so she's like turning all sorts of ways and touching different things and things like that. So it's a lot of fun. And after about what seems to be 10 minutes of small talk and her also analyzing, she kind of turns to you and she's like, I was playing around with the recording you gave me of this superhero movie, and get this. Visually, doesn't seem like anything is off, but I was able to kind of isolate the sounds from your video, and something's weird is happening with the sound a little bit. And so she kind of is like, it probably would be better if I showed you. And she pulls out a second set of headphones and she plugs in like a headphone splitter.
Classic.
And she's like, here, put these on and I can show you and you can hear it better.
Okay, yeah.
So Casey gives you the headphones, Kyler, you put them on, and Casey kind of directs your attention to one of her screens. She flicks at the screen and she shows you an image specifically during the fight that you guys had in the inner space. Of course, part of it was, this was before you guys got thrown out and, the screen goes white. But part of that fight was a bunch of the sheet of music as, Phineas got tossed through the choir pews, and a bunch of sheet music was coming up about it too, that flying around the room and everything. And even, the shadowy choir figures having the sheet music. Casey points to a lot of certain parts of the sheet music. And as she kind of plays it slowly, you both notice that some of the sheet music begins to glitch out, and it breaks up some of the audio waves. You like kind of like when your audio files get corrupted and some of it can either it has missing chunks of it, from it when you play it back. It's kind of like that feeling. And Casey explains that these glitchy sheet musics are also messing with the audio and are sounding like broken audio waves. And she takes off the headphones, and you do too. And she's like, follow my train of thought here. I know this is going to sound really weird, but just bear with me. So, playing this clip and looking at it and, us watching it for a little bit, especially at this particular part right here, you see that? It's like, how do I explain it? When the music sheets glitch, there's noise behind the noise, if that makes sense. Most people would call these broken audio waves static for all intents and purposes, but it's not just random. It seems that there's a pattern in these glitches. There's a pattern in there. Like, I don't know. This is going to sound weird, but it sounds like something is trying to break through those glitches. That something is saying or playing something behind the audio that we are hearing in this video. It's like double layered, so to speak. You have brought me an interesting piece of media. Where did you say you got this from?
It was an assignment from my teacher.
Right. Cool. So, okay. Not that it's any of my business, but I know you asked me to take a look at this for your assignment, but I feel you'll probably hear for something else. I'm not going to ask questions. You don't have to say yes or no. Not my business. But the reason I say that is that I can't shake this feeling. And, after analyzing this and kind of giving, my explanation, as weird as it is, with something trying to get through the glitch and the static of it all, let me see if I can. Let me ask this question then. I know this is for an assignment, and we'll keep it on that lines. Does your professor want you to see if you can see or maybe come to a conclusion about what's breaking through said double layered glitches and and noises coming from the clip?
Yeah. Yes, I believe that is. Am I able to just glean from the way she's talking about how trustworthy things can be in case I want to, I guess, admit things?
Cool. So as you're playing this in your head and she's, trying to glean information, a la LA Noire, you see 3 button prompts come up on your screen. I'm just kidding. So I can tell you this because I won't make you roll for this. Casey is being honest. She's not going to ask questions. Of course, she's a lot smarter than people give her credit for. She's curious, but she's also not in the business of being into your business. At least business that might seem to have ramifications of things bigger than juicy high school gossip, of course, because remember, she is also the head of the school newspaper, as Atticus found out after playing a game of 20 questions with her and barely coming out of that in one piece. So, you know what? She might have a future as a, law enforcement agent, specifically when it comes to getting confessions out of people, because she's very charismatic. But in this instance, Kyler, you feel that, again, she's the type to not ask questions, and she prefers if you don't give her too much information. But she also understands that there might be some other motives, but she's not going to call you out on them or, ask you to spill the details either, because the less she knows, the better.
Okay. Good to know.
Cool. So back to it. She's like, okay, so your professor wants you to see if you can come to a conclusion and, understand what's trying to come through the glitches and the broken audio waves, right? So yeah, I can't shake this feeling. So let me put it this way. I can't necessarily break through it even with my lovely equipment here because it's beyond my capability. It's unfortunately. However, I do have a working theory as to how you can go about doing this. It seems that whatever is trying to get through, if you want to get past whatever, the best way to put it is I feel like whatever is behind the static, if it's like hitting a wall.
Hmm.
Sorry to get too nerdy on you, new friend, but so when
don't worry.
sound waves is what carries, the things to our ears from what we hear, music, speech, all that kind of stuff, right? So as you know, when there are things in front of those sound waves, it can tend to muffle the sounds, it can tend to block it. So the best way I can explain it is that whatever is behind with the sound of behind that's coming from the glitches and the broken audio waves, it's like they're hitting the wall. Now, if you want to get past whatever wall that is being hit, you're gonna have to find a way for it to stop forcing it. So a lot of people think to get that secondary layer of audio, you have to kind of change the volume and mess with it. But it's more than that. You have to change the resonance or the frequency of the sound, so to speak. So whatever is being said in here, you need to find a way to change the frequency or bring about a different change to it. Um, Kind of like how if you want a person to change, you first need to help them understand, with anything that there might be something wrong and find a way to kind of help them come to that realization. So, in audio terms, find something, find the change, you change the frequency, they begin to resonate with what you're saying, and then they're able to make the change themselves. I work in a weird way. It's mostly audio for me, but I also understand, that's kind of similar to how people and human beings work. If you can find their frequency and change the dial a little bit, they would be more okay with being receptive, and you can help them break through whatever is going on here.
Mhm.
So all to say is that the right frequency doesn't shout over everything else. It finds the harmony that already exists and kind of shifts it into a different perspective, just enough to start changing the whole piece, if that makes any sense. I know this is crazy talk, honestly, but
No, this I know I'm new to all this, but it seemingly makes sense. Um, how'd you how'd you come to know all this? Like this type of knowledge when it comes to um, I guess to music or audio, I guess.
well, in return, I guess I can tell you this. So my how do I put this? Because even though I don't get to see her a lot, she's not a deadbeat. But so my mom, you know, my mom is in the military, and so of course she can't tell me a lot about her job, so to speak. I don't. In fact, I don't get to see her too much. I'm staying with my dad, and love my dad to death. He's really really great. But I only get to see my mom during the holidays, which is okay because I know her job is important, so I don't hold any resentment to it. But when before my parents split, my mom used to be she used to own a record store back in the day. Her mom and then my grandma and my great grandma used to own it, and she would spend all of her days after school and summers in there, and she kind of just picked up a vibe. And then of course, when technology began to change as well, she decided to adapt with it and learn some stuff. And then she couldn't give me details, but it seems that her job also has to, gives her the ability to play around with some stuff like that. I grew up around a lot of music and a lot of computer sciencey stuff, and so that's been my connection to my mom and all of this. So I would say that I got it from her. Now, of course, I think I might be a little better than her because I but you don't need to tell her that. But honestly, she kind of got me into all of this, and it's my connection to her. And sometimes when I feel alone or lonely or I'm missing her, um doing this helps me feel some sort of connection to her, even if we're not physically in the same room or within the same place, if that makes any sense.
Oh no, that makes perfect sense. That's really cool.
Yeah, and she's taught me a lot of things too. Again, audio metaphors here, so apologies, but again, when it comes to finding the harmony that resonates and changing the frequency of a person, my mom always says that you and that person need to find the harmony within each other, and you need to be able to play the same you know music piece together, whatever that means. And she also says that it can be messy sometimes and it can be chaotic, but it works because it's coming from you. It's yours. And funny enough, this kind of applies to the problem we're trying to solve. I think that's how it applies. That's how you're going to get through whatever this secondary sound is coming from behind these glitches.
Mm-hmm.
Not following the more traditional rules that most of us audio engineers have, not trying to create some perfect version of it. I think the best sounds are created when you are real and you use that realness to kind of break through to whatever it is that you're doing. I mean, she leans back in her chair and she's kind of smirking a little bit with her hands behind her head. And she's like, look, I'm just a tech girl messing with, waveforms here. I don't have all the big answers, but I believe that, audio and music and any sound really isn't necessarily about trying to control the waves and control the sound that is coming through. It's about the connection that you make and the, what you create from the words or the instruments or whatever the format is, and have it resonate between you and the person that you are, whatever it is, talking to, playing with, all that good stuff. And you know what? This is my rule of thumb. If anybody can connect with people, it's those who understand that kind of piece of knowledge. At least that's what my mom says. I'm still trying to figure out what that all means, but you know what? I love her, and so far it's worked out for me. I tend to connect with people who don't seem to be, the regular types of folks that people tend to connect with. And you know what? Some of them have become my friends. I have two really good ones. Sam and Javier are really good friends. Like, normally, I'm not a performing arts person. I like to stay in the shadows, but you know what? I'm very happy, and I've been very surprised of how well we gel together. Even within our differences, we found our frequency, and the three of us found our resonance, and it just works for us. So I believe that could be true for anybody. You have to find a way to, resonate with what someone is trying to say.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, anytime.
No, that helps out a lot. I think I know where to go from this. But hey, is it possible you can help me out with my homework again someday? I guess. It seems like it definitely seems like you have a lot more knowledge on this than I will ever have. So, kind of looking for an advantage in the class.
You know what? I would absolutely love to help you with your next assignment. And in fact, it'll be free of charge from here on out. I don't need any juicy gossip in return. You seem like the real deal, my friend.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll definitely let you know. I'm looking forward to it. And even if you aren't looking for juicy gossip for payment, I might bring some anyway. You know us. You know us queers.
Be like, and she looks up with you with an eyebrow raise. She's just like, you know what? I don't think you mean it in the negative way, but yeah. So she just. It's funny that you mentioned that. I'm like, you wouldn't, and she's just joking. It's kind of funny you say that because I'm more familiar with the term of like, apparently there's heroes out here doing stuff. So it's just like, okay. But in all seriousness, if you ever, I'd be more than happy to help you. And you know what? Honestly, you remind me of Sam. It's just like, you're a little quirky. You might be a little weird, but you know what? I can tell by our short time together, I was just like, you have a ginormous heart. And I think people and your friends are very lucky to have you. So I would love to get to know that a little bit more in the near future. If you need help with anything, I'm here. And she kind of tosses you. Well, she gets up from out of her chair and she extends a hand to you and just says, I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship. Should you ever want it? And she just extends, it's like, you are now an underling of Casey, the Media Lab Queen, as she jokingly says this to you with her hand extended.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to introduce you to my friends as well. I have one specific friend that I think would absolutely love you.
You know what? I look forward to that day. And as you two shake hands, similar to Phineas in the other scene, Kyler, you see a prismatic light coming from Casey's, heart. And as you finish saying your goodbyes and close the Media Lab door, you look at your transformer, which is also glowing in that same pattern. And you see a moving image of Casey just in her chair, smiling and laughing before it fades away. And you have now also found a hero potential within Casey. Her bright optimism and how she views the world and the connections with people for somebody her age is very extraordinary and very profound. And you know what? She might become a source of help and guidance, sometime in the near future. And that goes for Coach as well, Phineas. I forgot to mention that part during your scene is that this could be a start of beautiful friendships, relationships, allyships, whatever you want. So,
yay, we've got sidekicks.
I'm like looking at the morpher and like, it's like some kind of video game.
Well, in all intents and purposes, too, these NPCs are somewhat allies. So think of them more so. Well, I wouldn't say even sidekicks because they're not heroes yet, but I would say that they are akin to like Lois Lane, who are, they are regular everyday individuals who happen to be on the cusp of discovering this crazy hidden world of heroes and queers and empathy powers and stuff like that. So they are able to help you out in any way they can through the like more human needs, so to speak. But yeah, so
yay, we've got familiars. Oh,
I mean, essentially. So let us continue on. So both of you so Phineas, you and Kyler, we fast forward through the day, so to speak. And you guys end up exchanging information with what you learned. And, you go through all of that as well. So yeah, actually, you know what? Let's do that conversation right now. So you guys meet back up. We find ourselves back into the ginormous botanic garden, like courtyard centerpiece, which is like the safe haven at the school for you guys. So yeah, I will let you all two go at it for a little bit, and then we'll go from there.
So can I just assume that the two of us have told our story? Or do you want to go through with the stories that we've told?
You know what? I will say you guys exchange the information. So you recap the scenes that have been played out. So now we're at now we got the information. Let's figure out what to do next kind of scenario. And that's where we're at.
My hands are literally on my temples as he gets done talking about all of the stuff or having P1 play back everything that Sammy had said. And I literally, wide-eyed, looking at it going, oh my god, all we need to do is make like reverb shields. It makes so much sense.
Wait. Reverb what?
So like, okay, so we have both P1, which, by the way, P1, do you have the ability for audio playback?
In a higher pitched Penelope voice, she's like, "That I do."
Perfect. So what Sammy's trying to say is, as long as we have the ability to play, in essence, like an anti-tune, a negative tune, drop D, whatever you want to call it, something that is different than what is currently out there, and it cancels it out, we can literally use that in waveform processing.
Interesting.
Like, all we have to do is find the correct harmonic to be able to go through and audio process and then put it into Penelope or P1 for this example, and literally have it on a low display, and it would become armor.
You tell them, doggo.
I do have a doggo. I have 2 doggos, and they love to steal the limelight, but I have them do it off to the side.
I love it. So,
yeah.
As you say this, Phineas, Penelope chimes in. It's just like, no, as crazy as an idea as that sounds, I believe that might be a possibility to work. And in fact, I think I can create something right now, or at least, materialize it.
And I just now realized something else. So they're playing this music, and every time Sammy notices that every time one of the sheet music pieces goes away, it plays a song. What if we play it in sequential order?
Ooh.
Take every single note, every single piece that's broken up, and do part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, put it into an audio mixer, and play it like a song, and then just play it backwards.
That can work. I think. So
dang, that girl's smart.
Yeah. I think that's gonna work. I think that's gonna help us out a lot. But
if I may offer a suggestion, as Penelope kind of chimes in, I believe. I mean, yes, I agree. Casey is amazing, and she, is cool, and I want to be her when I grow up. But in all seriousness, I believe Casey said something that was very profound to me and kind of stood out in the conversation that you had with her, Kyler. Let me see if I can find it. And you begin to hear the whirring of a playback machine within her chassis. It's like, here it is. And then you hear the play button click, and over, the tiny little bird speaker that is Penelope, you hear Casey's voice, again, reiterating what the conversation you had is just like, and this, you both hear Casey, the point that Casey was trying to make, and it's just like, think of it as like tuning an instrument. I mean, however the sound wave was, whatever it is, it's sounding like strumming the strings, just going through the motions of it. And it seems that in order for it to make sense, this time you're going to need to play them together, and that you need to harmonize and you need to be in sync with whoever it is that you're going to do this with, and then unclick. So it seems that you, Kyler, and you, Phineas, I can give you the device that is needed, but it seems that you two must be in sync in order for this to work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought the offensive part to it was going to be.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay.
So I guess we're learning to play instruments.
Now it's friendship is magic through sound. Let's go.
Yay.
Do not worry. No experience is needed to play this device. It's more of a... what is the correct word to put it? It's more of a metaphor, but I can create it right now and we can see how it works if you would like to do so, or we can wait for a little bit. It is up to you how you want to go about doing this.
We should probably get out of the school area before we do this.
That's a good point. Because if anything plays out loud while we're in the vicinity, and he's probably here,
Yep.
we don't want any negative side effects.
Nope. Not to mention looks of why we're playing just random music notes out of nowhere, a janitor and a random student.
That's true. People are going to talk. Just saying.
Right.
I love it so much. So Penelope's like, okay, then let us leave campus and let us find somewhere else to do this. And so you guys end up leaving campus. You guys end up going to a secluded part of Chrysalis Bay where, it's not as crazy busy as some of the other parts in this big island metropolis. And Penelope, you guys find yourself like in the back alley of like a bunch of like ma and pa shops and restaurants and other things like that. But it's like the commercial back alley where it's big enough for these like trucks that deliver the supplies to these places are able to kind of back in and everything. So you guys find some crates you sit on. Penelope perches them herself up on, a crate of some sort. It's like, proceeding to materialize harmonic device. One moment, please. And again, you just see like the scanner come out and like a 3D printer, it keeps going back and forth as it slowly builds this thing. And then after about 15 minutes, it's like materialization complete. Harmonic device is ready to go. And JT, you're going to get a kick out of this. So it is basically a DJ deck with two sides, like one of the digital ones. You have your turnstiles, you have the knobs and the buttons and all sorts. You have two places where you have two separate headphones. It is ready. So it is a whole DJ deck. Oh my gosh, we have a whole prop and everything. Let's go. Yes, that
Newly
is exactly
customized too. Yay!
It literally is that. So Penelope is just like, whenever you're ready, let us try to play these notes in sequential order.
Okay.
Got it.
Let's go for it.
Sweet. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. So you guys get, each of you is one side of the harmonic device of this deck, and both of you kind of take the time to listen to the music and kind of get with the pattern and everything going on. And after like practicing it for a little bit, both of you look at each other and both of you begin to kind of nod to each other as you begin to be ready to play. You both in sync and in tandem together begin to play the notes in order as you physically see the harmonizer in front of you as both of you are like at the same time, hand in hand, doing this together as teammates and stuff like that. And as you play the final note, you begin to hear a harmonic chime of some sort, kind of. It's like what happens when you have wind chimes blowing in the wind. So you hear that, but it's more of a symphonic version of that with like strings and keys and stuff like that playing. And as you are doing this and you finish playing, you find your hearts aligned. The sound begins to reverberate through the air, and then right in front of you, kind of manifesting itself through the harmonic that you have created together in all of this, you begin to see kind of like a faint shimmering of some sort to begin to materialize in front of you, and you both see in front of you, kind of materializing, a faint glow of a golden door in front of you. And the door begins to hum with resonance of the same tune that you were playing with the harmonizer. And both of you, beyond this door, you hear the distant echo of a piano waiting. And both of you come to the realization that the inner space is calling you back, and you have found a way back in. And with that, that is where we're going to end our session here for tonight.
Dang, that was an epic back-to-back.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations, coming to a festival near you, Kyler and Phineas.
Yes.
Yes.
Playing their back-to-back set.
Nice.
So, man, that was a lot of fun. This was definitely more of a info gathering episode, which, you know, I love to do. And you know what? Both of you got, you know, you essentially have allies now. Phineas, you have a connection with the coach in some capacity. Kyler, you have a connection with Casey. So, not to give too much information away, but like I said, these are like your Lois Lanes and your Jimmy Stewarts of this game, where they are within the reason. They will be allies and kind of like your like anchor characters. So for you, Kyler, your anchor is Q. Phineas, your anchor is Miguel. These will act as other individuals that you can go to, and they will be the quote unquote safe space. So moving forward, they will be like your cheerleaders and everything too with it. So it's a good moral support for sure. They will have some game benefits also down the line, which we'll talk about later when we get through this chapter. Because, yeah, you have informants essentially, so this is good. But that's going to be it for us here on this episode of QUEERZ. Our next session is going to be a little bit before we can get together again, because again, September is nuts for everybody. The fall is upon us. And, you know, I am not trying to get in trouble with certain individuals. So our next session is going to be, well, fortunately and unfortunately, so it's going to be a little bit. Our next session is going to be September 27th. I know my schedule has gotten crazier this year, and I wish it would be sooner, but hey, you know what? That just means more time to replay and get caught up with all the episodes so far, so you are prepared for what is to go down on September 27th, where our heroes are entering back into the inner space of Felix Dorian. And this time, will they be successful in their mission, or will it be the same outcome as last time? You're going to need to come back September 27th to figure all that out and see it unfold. But I would like to thank my players for being here this evening. Without them, I can't tell the story, and they are great. And you know what? Shout out to Halfling Wizard Productions for allowing me to be here to tell this kind of story and run this game. I'm really, really excited and all of that. So, but we got to get up on out of here. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we will see you Saturday, September 27th for our next episode of QUEERZ. But until next time, remember, be true to yourself, take care of each other, love yourself, because that is all. Self-love is very important. And of course, as always, remember, never be afraid to be here, to be queer, and to be you. So until next time, this is us signing off for the evening. So have a good night, and we'll see y'all later.
Tiny robes he's wearing so fine, in the tavern sipping on wine, knows the secrets of the old halfling wizard never told. Mystic wand and a pointed hat, talks to people about this and that, sneaky tricks and a wink in his eye. Halfling wizard makes the hours fly. Oh, halfling wizard in the night, casting spells to the moonlight. He can talk and he can know in his world the magic grows. Down the road in evening light, he'll engage you, that's his delight. Readers of the stars he seeks, in a crowd he's sure to